Welcome, welcome. Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Enlightened World Network. We're here for a meditation a day, and my guest today is Terry Wildemann. Terry has been with us in so many different avenues, and I absolutely love being with her here. So, Terry, welcome.
Welcome to our energy and to what it is that we're going to be stepping into today. And Ruth, I always love being with you. You know, there's something about your energy, there's something about being with your people, your tribe that just fills me up. And I hope that, I'm not going to say I hope, I expect that today's interaction is going to be just as brilliant as every other interaction that we've ever had with everyone. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. Now, we're doing something a little bit different today. So, Terry and I were just chatting about different meanings of the word meditation.
Yeah.
And this isn't going to be a typical kind of meditation. Terry works very strongly, very closely with her guides. And I always leave the meditation up to the host or the guest and what their guides are telling them. And so we are going to step into Terry's energy and what her guides are suggesting for us for today. So, Terry, talk to me about different kinds of meditation.
Well, a lot of folks hear the word meditation and they go one of two ways. Oh, I love meditating. And then there's others like, I can't meditate for less, for more than 5 seconds. I just can't do it. It's just not something that works for me. And there are so many different kinds of meditation. It's even saying thank you is a meditation and a prayer. Meditation is how you comport yourself on a moment to moment basis. Giving a hug to someone is a meditation. Sending them love is a form of meditation. Being in a state of appreciation for something. Today I had two birds. I opened up the door, and next thing I know, two birds come flying through the house. And it's like, okay. One sat on my hydrangea. We have these, not hydrangea. Geez, I forget what the name of the plant is. Big flowers that are in my den. Sat on there, took a look around, and flew right out. The other one, it took a while, and I just cracked up and just thanked the universe that I had a moment to enjoy with these two little birds. And another time, I would have been completely freaked out. Oh my God, I got two birds in the house. You know that drill. And when we learn that not everything is an emergency and not everything is chaotic, and when we learn to go with the flow, that is a form of meditation.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on that, Ruth?
the words that just came to me, and I've never thought along these lines, so I'm excited about this. The words that came to me were grace, that really getting into total goosebumps, getting into that space of grace, even if it's just for a minute. And
Yeah,
and I also heard the word exhale. And
exactly.
so to me, I mean, that can even come across. Let's say you're sitting at a restaurant and you actually have a real heart to heart with the server there, even just for 30 seconds. But just finding that space of grace where you can just
Yes.
enjoy and connect with each other soul to soul. That's
Oh,
what's
I
coming.
love that. That to me is meditation. And that's a wonderful way to share meditation with those folks who are ADD, ADHD, that kind of stuff, go, whatever, who keeps saying, I can't do this, I can't do this. Well, the more you keep saying that, you're absolutely right, because that's a law of attraction thing. However, if we take these little minute steps and honor those graceful moments, those moments of grounding, those moments that just make our hearts sing,
Yeah.
that is a form of, I don't even want to say mind meditation. It's almost, and I don't even want to say the word mindfulness, because if you really think about it, the word mindfulness, that's all about up here. But if you say heartfulness,
Right.
instead of mindfulness, this is really where you want to be. This is about thoughts, the practical, the tactical, and the logical. This is about the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and the intuitive. So when we connect both the brain and the head with the brain and the heart, that's where the magic happens. And this heartfulness is so much more powerful than mindfulness. Because with mindfulness, that logic and that practicality, it gets in the way of the feeling and the emotion. And the feeling and the emotion is what elevates our DHEA levels, all the good hormones in our body, and it reduces the cortisol levels. Make sense?
It does. And Terry, I'm going to take it even a step further because they just told me to. They just told me to. The word
Uh,
vibrational match.
yes.
And so with your bird, I can see it really with the second one in particular. The first one was kind of like, yeah, I'm in, nope, I'm out. But the second one, just being able to be in that space of, I see you, I enjoy you, I feel you, without the, I got to get the bird out of the house, right? But that vibrational match, I think, is
Yes.
what you're talking about. And my daughter and I were just in California, literally just in California, and sitting on the beach yesterday and feeling that vibrational match with the waves coming in.
Yes. Yes.
It sure slowed down the brain waves and the heart waves and just evened us both right out.
And when you do that, that vibrational match, and you know it's a vibrational match by the way you feel,
Mhm.
because it is just what you said. It's like this opening, this letting go, this allowing, this very powerful allowing. That vibrational match feeds every single cell in your body and helps to heal your body in very powerful ways. It builds resilience. So when we step into that non-pushing, non-controlling space of vibrational matching, because we allow it, the universe provides it for us over and over and over again. And this past weekend demonstrated that for me.
What happened this weekend?
I went to a party, a birthday party, 80th birthday party for a very good friend. And this friend used to own a very large mansion in the area where I live. And this mansion, they called it a castle. It was a haunted castle. And every time I went in there to work with her, to do coaching or to do training for her team or whatever it was, the guides, the ghosts from the place decided that they wanted to have a conversation with me and drove me nuts. So there were many times I did communications and leadership training in the big ballroom of this mansion. And I had to say to these folks, give me a break. Give me a moment here. Guys, go. Leave me alone so that I can focus. It was really funny. And instead of running away from it, I accepted it and looked at it almost as a game, and it turned into a game with them, because they were a lot of the entities that were still there were historical figures. So it
Mhm.
was really cool. I had no idea who they were. And I would say to my friend, this person looks like this, and this. And she would say, oh, that's so and so. And no, that's so and so. And so it was a lot of fun. And she now lives in a little cottage down the street. And her dog tends to bark at this chair that looks like a chair that belongs to the a round table, like the Knights in the Round Table. It's dark with a high back and it's got the high arms, but uh, the wood is just beautiful. And she said, Terry, would you go over there and check out that chair and see if there's something there? or someone there. And I sat down and I said, okay, whatever, let's just go with the flow, whatever's going to happen. And this is the key, going with the flow. And I could feel the energy, and it was almost like pulling me in. And I sat down in the chair. I'm like, hey, I'm the queen. This is great. And suddenly I heard the name Darcy. I don't know a Darcy. The only Darcy I know is from high school. And I thought, this is interesting. And I was told to talk to the hostess about this person, Darcy. So I got up off the chair, was a little blown away at the energy. And I'm walking back through the house, and I went out to the deck. And there was this lovely woman, long dark hair. She almost looks like a younger version of me at that age. And I thought, oh, there's something about her that just attracted me to her. And I said to her, hi, I'm Terry Wildemann. And she says, hi, my name's Darcy. It just was like, okay. And I didn't say anything to her because I would have completely freaked her out. She had no idea who I was. So later on, when most of the folks had left, there were 4 couples left, and she and I were talking, and I said, I asked her, I said, how tuned into spiritual stuff are you? She said, oh, I love that stuff, on and on. And I said, okay, I think you have an invitation to sit in a very special place and see what comes up for you. And I walked her over to I call it the throne, and I said, take a seat and see what happens. And she's like, oh, this feels so good. She's so stressed out. Okay, listen to my word, stressed out. So she sat in the chair. She allowed the energy to envelop her, and she started to relax. And she got up. We were talking again, and she said, Terry, I am so stressed out. That made me feel so good. I said, how stressed? Are you still feeling really stressed? She said, yeah, I am. I said, how about we sit in the chair again, and I'll teach you a very simple technique, which I'll share with your audience, which I've done before. And let's see what happens. She said, okay, I will do that. So what we did was I taught her my quick shift zone technique, which I've done before. And you can go to quickshiftzone.com and download it. And it's a book. It's a very, very simple technique that is 60 seconds. You can do it before you go into a meeting. You can do it before you go have a meeting with someone on the phone or in person, whatever it is. You can do it when you get upset with somebody to get you back grounded. And it's a technique that was first introduced in my book, The Enchanted Boardroom. It's right behind me. And it's very simple. So I sat her down in the chair and I had her breathe. Remember what we were talking about earlier with the brain in the head and the brain in the heart. And I had her breathe. And I said, breathe into your heart. And she was breathing into her heart. Do it with me, Ruth. Breathing into the heart and breathing into the heart. And she's like, okay. I said, second step is think of something that makes you feel really, really good. And she thought whatever it is that she thought of, and her face, her countenance just completely changed. And I hope it's helping with the audience also. Think of something that makes you feel really, really good. Listen to the sounds. Really see where you are. Really feel it. Use all of your senses. And as you're doing this, let go of everything that is holding you back from being fully grounded. And I let her sit there for a while, and just a short little while. And to the right of the picture of the throne in this hallway was a huge picture that was 4 feet by 3 feet wide. I mean, it's a pretty big picture. I saw the frame before, but I wasn't registering on what was in it. And I took a good look at it and gasped. Now, this woman is sitting here, and here's the picture. The picture was a picture of the Madonna. The Blessed Mother's my gal. And the host husband painted it when he was 24 years old. And the energy coming off the picture, and I went over it like this, row by row by row by row, because I was guided to. I didn't understand why. I just listened. I allowed myself, this is meditation, as she was meditating, I was feeling the energy as if it were a meditation. I could almost feel it now. And I kept saying, go to the bottom, go to the bottom. So I went to the bottom and suddenly my hand just stopped cold. And I took a deep breath and I lifted my hand and there was a rose. A little tiny rose that was painted at the bottom. And I just had to smile. Actually, I gasped first. And then I just smiled because I used to channel the call of the rose. See, my phone agreed. It just went off. I used to, well, in many ways, I still channel. And the call of the rose was Mother Teresa, the Blessed Mother, Mary Magdalene, and Kuan Yin.
Beautiful.
And when I looked at her, she had this, to the young woman in the throne, she had a very ethereal look about her. And she said, that felt so good. I needed that desperately. So it was as if the Blessed Mother had called me in to help her. And as leaders, as influencers, I could have said to my friend, okay, I'll do that after the party. I'll do that at another time, so that I could stay in with everybody. But I'd listened to my intuition and had my own little mini meditation. She had a meditation. And because I listened, which is all these little, I was heartful. I was in this place of heartfulness instead of mindfulness. So much came out of that event. I can't even begin to put into words the depth, the breadth, the width, all because instead of doing a big meditation and, like I said, folks just think you got to go, oh, and all that. No, you don't. You're in the moment. That in itself is a quote unquote meditation.
I love the idea of that. It's like a mini meditation. It's a mini moment. It could just be seconds in some cases, really.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's that breathing into the heart helps to get you into coherence. And when you get into coherence, you have access to all the information you need to take you to the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. At that event, I also connected with two psychics. One was 85, the other one was 80. They were a married couple. And there was a part of me, this is the heartfulness piece. There was a part of me that was a little resistant to some of the information I was getting. And there was another part of me that was like, oh, wow, the information I'm getting is absolutely spot on. And it was. And they were sharing that info with me. And the resistant part was some of the information that they shared means a career. It's not a career change. It's an addition to my current career. And this person said to me, you realize that you're going to be a publisher. And one of the things we've been talking about is that I'm going to be a publisher, that by the end of this year, Intuitive Leadership Press is going to be live. And he stopped by the house yesterday, asked us to come back. We went back, and this person gave me all this information about being a publisher. And I was resistant because I'm not ready. So,
Yeah.
however, I'm open that I may not be ready. However, is it because I'm resistant to it? Is it because I'm scared to do it? What is at the core of the resistance? And being very quiet and going into that is that dream that I've had of being a publisher is becoming a reality. Because yesterday I had a person call me who I was interviewing who is searching for a publisher who knows how to integrate the practical, tactical, and logical with the emotional, the energetic, and the spiritual, and it's all about leadership. And I didn't dare tell this person that I'm going to be publishing at the end of the year. And last night I'm being told I'm going to be a publisher. So that resistance, and when we get information, it's really important because that information that we're resistant to, information that we want to say no to, will still come in that heartfulness space. So it's up to us to determine, what is at the core of the resistance? Is it fear? Is it scare? Is it this? What is it? And I spoke with my old publisher, and we've already got the outline done of what we're going to be doing. And that was just today. You just never know.
You don't know. Well, and there's a piece of it too, as you were saying to me earlier off camera, about synchronicity.
Yes.
Because you very well may not have spoken with those two psychics, or you could have spoken about something completely different. But that is the conversation that came up.
It is. Well, actually, they approached me. Each of them had different information for me. And when I was reviewing the two books that they handed me, one was written by each person, they asked me my opinion because they want me to publish their books. I was like, okay. And I started talking about both of those books. And I talked about the covers, I talked about the fonts, I talked about this, I talked about that, on and on and on and on. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, all this information is coming out of me.
Right.
That, I have published, I am the publisher of 2 solo books, and I'm in 7 co-authored books. So, when you write in those books, there's a lot of information that comes, but you also learn an awful lot. And what I shared with them was so spot on, it actually took my breath away. It knocked my socks off. And my husband, as we're going home, he says, do you have any idea how much you know? So I'm going to say that again. My husband is saying to me, do you have any idea how much you know? So my question to all of you is, do you have any idea how much you know and how much is inside of you? And are you allowing those synchronistic moments that are meditations to come into your world? Or are you controlling your life so tightly that everything has to be on your terms? Everything has to be so planned out that you end up losing sight of opportunities that are right at your feet.
Well, and part of that too, again, I keep hearing vibrational match.
Yeah.
Because part of that resistance, part of that synchronicity is the vibrational match. You were open to hearing the conversation, and then the resistance part could have very well been sort of a vibrational mismatch. And as soon as you kind of allowed yourself to even it out and to listen to it and to feel it, then this thing exploded on you, and here you are, you've got your outline already put together.
And this is just in hours, by the way, today.
Right. So the vibrational match again is
yes. And I explained something to them that I'm going to share with your audience also, is because that vibrational match was what I talked about yesterday. And I said, I put my hand on your books, and I'm not a match. I didn't say vibrational. I am not a match. I'm not your publisher for these books. One of them is bedtime stories, and the other one, the title was way off. And it was a combination of stories, poems, and recipes. And I'm like, that's not working. The way it was put together isn't working. And I explained to them what to do, what I would recommend that they do on Amazon, on and on. But what I also shared with them is that, and I shared a story about not being a match to something. And I said, that's what this is. I am honoring you by sharing with you, I'm not the vibrational match to publish these beautiful books of yours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he said, however, we have done lots of workshops, and we have 2 workshops that would fit your business clients beautifully. And they have all of these materials. The names would have to be changed. The workbooks would have, and that's what I use. I use lots of workbooks. So they're going to be sending me this information, which will probably, based on when he shared it with me, the resistance went away. The resistance was to the 2 books that they were asking me to publish. I'm not in alignment with those books. But the moment he started talking about those 2 workshops, yeah, yeah, okay, that's something that we need to look at. That's something that the resistance. I didn't tell him the resistance was less. What I said was, it feels more of a match, and the energy shifted. So that may be the way that we will collaborate. So in the very beginning, I could have said, no, no, no to the whole thing and not heard him out. Or listen to the whole thing, stay open, and look at where we ended up. So it's really a story of allowing. It's a story of being curious. And in that curious space, asking the open-ended questions that will take you along the journey that now every single journey has a lot of little detours. So is this publishing house a detour? It's not. I'm muscle testing it. It's not. It's not a detour. It's where I'm supposed to be going. I just didn't expect it to be happening in April. I expected it to be happening in the fall. So I'm listening.
Right, right. A listening and allowing.
Yeah,
Well, and being open to the synchronicities. So quickly, and
that's huge.
we'll just take like about 5 more minutes here because we don't normally spend too much time on our meditations. In my own meditations, Spirit is Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Metatron are working with me on understanding the human body a little bit. And one of the things that they've been showing me, which is still very fascinating to me, but they showed me through a bird. I was in meditation and there was a bird, and so I just kind of keyed on the energy of the bird. And they showed me this bird, and it had like mosaic tiles on it, and different tiles symbolize different things. So, like maybe the kind of bird it was, and the sound that it made, and the different things that differentiated the kinds of birds. And so I'm following that and I'm getting that. And they were showing me some symbols that might be on these tiles. And I was getting, okay, so dogs would have a different mosaic tile makeup, and people would have a different tile makeup. And Terry, yours would be slightly different than mine. Um, but that each of us and the animals and the plants and all are composites of these
Yes.
characteristics, right? And so I jotted down some of the symbols that they were showing me.
Mm-hmm.
Then that same morning, we went to UCLA campus in Los Angeles, and their science building has mosaic tiles on the outside of the building. And I stopped dead in my tracks when I saw some of them were the same symbols that they had shown me that morning. So being open, allowing the
Yes.
synchronicities. Yeah, Very cool.
And that is just standing there looking at the tiles is a meditation.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why it's important for us to recognize that there's no one right way to meditate. Meditate, it's, and like I said, I don't even like to use the word meditate anymore. I love to use the word heartfulness, stepping into that heartfulness place and allow what's meant to happen. And that allowing, when you gain control when you give up control. And that's coming from a perfectionist control freak.
We wear it well.
Yeah, we have talked about that. And this perfectionist control freak here, it caused me to burn out multiple times. And I have to admit, just sitting there meditating, it's taking years. I can sit there for about 15 minutes, not even 15 minutes, about 5 minutes. However, I can sit there and listen to an Abraham YouTube video and close my eyes and listen to Abraham's words, the Abraham Hicks words, beautifully, and just sit there and go into zone. So it's about finding what works for you. And even my enchanter boardroom, I bring them in every single day. They're with me morning, noon, and night. I'm constantly talking to them and to my inner CEO. And it's this ongoing energy, just like you talk to, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Metatron, Sandalphon, they're all in my enchanted boardrooms. We have the same partners who take us where we need to go. And they're always talking with us. And Ruth, I look at that the way when they're always talking with us and guiding us and redirecting us when we're about to do something stupid.
Yeah.
That's being in a heartful state. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And just one quick example of that, when you hear words or ideas that come popping into your head, give them some credence.
Yes.
Yeah, they very well might be coming from your guides. And I can tell you, those words that have come in have kept me from a very significant accident that happened in front of my eyes that I would have been in had I not heard the words look left. And I did and saw it happening. But just little things like we were going to the airport the other morning and I heard look up parking. I was like, okay, fine. So I looked up parking for the airport and our parking lot was closed. So we had to leave early. But they're willing to help us out on
Yes.
the easy life things as well as
Yes.
the big life things if we just listen and pay attention.
It really is about allowing. And like you, this was 34 years ago. I got into the car. My daughter was only 10 months old. And she was in the front seat. We were in a little sports car. So we were the old bucket car seats. So she was strapped in tightly, but I didn't put my seatbelt on. And I heard the words, put your seatbelt on. I ignored it. Went out into the main street and it was a couple lanes. Put your seatbelt on. I ignored it. Yeah. Then they got really loud. I got yelled at. Put your seatbelt on now. My seatbelt on. Okay, it's on. Light turned green and I went through and got hit by a drunk driver.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And in those days, the cars did not have airbags. So imagine I would have gone right through the windshield. So when we hear those words, it is important to listen to them. So thank you for allowing me to share that story because it's a powerful one. Your story too is the same thing. Those words are powerful. They really are. And unfortunately, when we ignore those words, we live to regret the results. And who here hasn't done that?
So, Terry, thank you for this opportunity to look into meditation from a different viewpoint, a different perspective. Really appreciate that today.
You're welcome, because it was interesting. Every time I kept saying, "Well, I got to do a meditation. I gotta do a meditation, or prepare meditation." And usually, guidance just comes through me. I kept getting no. It's we're meant to talk about different kinds of meditation. So thank you for allowing me to listen to the words that came.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. So, Terry, if people want to know more about the leadership work that you do, how do they find out about you?
They go to intuitiveleadership.com. And there they will find our brand new Intuitive Leadership U that just launched, that has masterminds and self-study courses, and it's specific to entrepreneurs who are interested. Really realize that there's a hole somewhere. Things aren't quite, there are missing parts of the puzzle.
It looks like Terry is frozen with us here. So,
Tactical, emotional, to help people with their inward journey.
beautiful. Terry, you froze for a minute, so please share the name of the website
Oops.
again.
Intuitiveleadership.com.
Excellent. Great. And I can tell you,
Thank you.
Terry is an amazing mentor, an amazing
Thank you.
administrative mentor for anybody who is on a spiritual journey, and especially those that are called to do spiritual work out in the world. So please take a look, check her out. So, friends, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being willing to hear and experiment a little bit with us about different kinds of meditation. So much love to each and every one of you. We appreciate you a great deal. Take good care and God